Yo, what is going on, fellas? So before we even get started with the video, I uploaded a video going over all Boruto's new Uchiha abilities, and that was one of my favorite videos I uploaded all month. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And I said if we get 600 likes on that video, I would do a part 2 talking about all Boruto's Uzumaki abilities, and then a part 3 talking about all his Otsutsuki abilities. But from the poll that I did, I think a few hours ago, y'all want the Otsutsuki abilities first, and then the Uzumaki abilities. So if you didn't check that video out already, I highly recommend you to. It's a banger, I promise. Oh, and it's right here too. Look at it. It's right here. It's right here. Look at this. Not even a day ago. It's going crazy right now. I would love to make a part 2 or 3 to that video. So go ahead and show some love, fellas. Show some love to your boy. Go check it out. But anyway, what we got here, man? What we got here? So I feel like chapter 20 is going to be a special chapter in the Boruto series, right? In this chapter, a lot of things are about to change. The story's about to take a massive turn. I said it was gonna take a turn for a while now because I seen it coming. I see it coming from a mile away. But when you consider that chapter 20 of Boruto TBV VORTEX will mark the 100th chapter of the Boruto series, that got me thinking Ikimoto got something special cooking up. The 20th chapter of TBV VORTEX and the 100th chapter in the series as a whole. So, what's going on in the story right now? We all know the plan that Shikamaru cooked up, probably Koji cooked up but told Shikamaru to tell everybody, whatever, the plan fell through. It's absolutely garbage. And I was telling you guys that there was 2 outcomes for the scenario. I put 3 fingers up. I meant 2. There's 2 outcomes for the scenario. Scenario 1 was the original plan, you know, they just befriend the Shinju and then betray him. They was gonna slam their homeboys out like on some February 26th type ish. But anyway, that plan fell through. So now we gotta go on to plan 2. And I said plan 2 was KAWAKI, right? I said in my past video, I'm gonna link it right here. You guys can see. If you wanna hear me talk about it in detail, go check that video out. But basically I was saying KAWAKI is about to make his grand entrance with his limiters off and just go crazy. That's what Koji is anticipating. That's why he doesn't want Boruto to go. Because if he does go, that's just gonna entice JURA to make his arrival faster. So the plan would to be have KAWAKI come there, eliminate both Ryu or Matsuri, force them to retreat, whatever. If JURA does come, then you could send Boruto along to fight with KAWAKI. But if Boruto goes first, then you have JURA arriving, Ryu and Matsuri is still alive, and if KAWAKI does come, they'll both have to fight against those 3. So it's just a harder fight. So I just rather KAWAKI come in, take Ryu and Matsuri out, and then JURA comes. So that was the plan I said, you know, that was the plan B. But what I didn't mention is that there is a plan C technically. Now I guess this video is about plan C, Boruto just not paying attention to Koji and going to save Konohamaru anyway. So there's a lot of things that could happen in that timeline, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. So let's just get into the video. Naruto Explained. Go leave a like on this video right here. Go show him some love, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave the link to Naruto Explained down below in the description. So go check him out. And without further ado, let's hop into it.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another Boruto TBV VORTEX discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about why as illogical as it is
Okay,
for Boruto
here we
to
go.
do this, we need to discuss the very real possibility that Boruto might defy orders from KASHIN KOJI and head out to the battlefield.
I can see it. I can see it.
KOJI's made it a point to tell Boruto that under no circumstances must he ever go to the battlefield because JURA will come for him and kill him if he does.
Yeah.
We do have signs of a break between the two that have led me to believe that Boruto might try to defy fate. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video where we can take a look at the discussion of whether or not Konohamaru will be saved by Boruto before Matsuri can eat him, and whether
it's either like Koji's losing trust in Boruto, or not losing trust because he trusts him. He knows that Boruto's going to listen to what he says, but he's losing confidence in Boruto, right? I always reference this as like a point where Koji's mindset towards Boruto must have changed. Back in chapter 4, y'all remember when Boruto was visiting the Ten Tails dimension? When the Shinju just appeared in the series, Koji was in his ear telling him to retreat multiple times, right? Multiple times throughout the chapter. He just wouldn't listen. And then afterwards, he apologized and just said, oh well, yeah, I panicked. Like, you panicked? That's not a good excuse at all. That's not a good excuse to not listen to me. So from right there, he must have decided, you know what? I really can't count on Boruto to make the most logical decisions. So I'm gonna have to take the driver's seat from here. Whether I keep certain information from Boruto that might entice him to put himself in danger or whatever. And Boruto might notice that he's doing that and lose trust in Koji. So there's your whole conflict right there. That's your whole conflict. It's all for the embetterment of the future. And that right there is gonna pull them apart from each other. I caught on to it way back then. It got brought back up in like chapter 17. But now we're really seeing it. Like there's a real chance Boruto could put himself in danger just because he doesn't trust Koji.
So let's dive into Boruto's predicament and Two Blue Vortex and unpack why he might defy Kashin Koji's warning, why a shadow clone is not going to work or not work as well as you might think, and how his role as a singularity of fate.
I was thinking about that too. I was thinking about Boruto sending a shadow clone, but
parallels to Buddhist and Shinto ideas. We'll also explore how this moment is crucial for Boruto's growth, especially in relation to his dream of becoming a Shadow Hokage. So why Boruto might choose to ignore Kashin Koji's warning. Boruto's emotional ties to Sarada and Konohamaru at the heart of his character, that is the heart of his potential defiance. Kashin Koji has laid out a very clear directive. As a singularity of fate, Boruto must remain detached, intervening only to steer time toward a specific outcome. His survival to defeat JURA is what is needed. That is the only thing that matters. But Boruto is not wired for cold impartiality. He is upset with Koji, and that frustration, it peaks as he's learning that Sarada and Konohamaru, especially Konohamaru, are in mortal danger. Konohamaru, in particular, is moments away from being consumed by Matsuri, a Shinju born from Moegi's chakra. And her love for him, it is a twisted, tragic scenario that is bound to hit Boruto hard.
And that's the whole theme of the story right now. It's just surrounded by love. Everything. The Shinju is discovering love for the first time. Jura's trying to find a way to overcome it. Love is going to be the reason why Boruto puts himself in danger. Now everything is going to come together. He said Boruto's not cut out for just hardening your heart and letting certain things fly for the embetterment of the future. And that is true. That's true. He gets that from his father. Yeah, that's some Naruto stuff right there. That's why I think personally Koji may be withholding certain information, right? Because we know Koji could do that. He doesn't care about Konohamaru. He doesn't care about Sarada. He cares about them, but to a certain extent. Like if push comes to shove, if he knew he needed to sacrifice Konohamaru in order to get the better outcome or the better timeline, whatever, he's gonna go with that choice. He's gonna go with it. Tell me why Koji wouldn't go with that choice if it meant one sacrifice. But to Boruto, that sacrifice means everything to him. Like, let's not even talk about Konohamaru right here. Like, let's get a little deeper. If it was Himawari, there's no way, there's no possible way that you tell Boruto that Himawari has to be sacrificed for the future to be saved. And Boruto's just like, you're right. Yeah, okay. It's not happening. It's not happening. He's going to go and ruin everything just to save his little sister, as would a lot of other people. So that's not something exclusive to Boruto. A lot of people would do the same thing. That being said, Koji might know that Boruto's gonna do that. So why even tell him? Why tell him? Just let it happen. He's gonna be mad, of course. He's gonna lose trust in you, but the future's gonna be saved. That could be Koji's logic right there. We don't even know it.
These aren't just comrades, they are family to him in everything except for name. He has a history of acting rashly to protect those who he loves, like charging into battles against overwhelming odds in the original series itself, in the original Boruto series. It suggests strongly that he might prioritize their lives over Kashin Koji's grand plan. The flying Raijin marker that Mitsuki is revealed to have only serves to further amplify this temptation. It's a lifeline to jump into the fray. Yeah. And Boruto
they got it set up already.
Was on the verge of using it before Kashin Koji intervened and told him to sit his ass down. His defiance would stem from the belief that just can't stand by and watch the people that he cares for suffer. Just like Naruto. Iruka told Naruto to sit down, Naruto still went onto the battlefield, even if it risked unraveling the future that Kashin Koji has.
What would Dad do? Is it what Dad would do or what would Dad do? I think it's what Dad would do. Wasn't that the title of chapter 80? Oh yeah, it is. What Dad would do. I'm sorry. I just had to fact check that. All right, back to the video, bro. But yeah, that's literally what Dad would do. You could say that's like a little clue that Boruto might just say F it and go help Konohamaru and the others, because that's what Dad would do. But hey, we gotta see.
Here's why sending a shadow clone does not make sense either. So sending a shadow
Shadow
might
clone
seem like a compromise. He keeps his real self safe while also helping, but is a flawed idea given the mechanics of the technique and the stakes that you have. So shadow clones, as a reminder, they split the user's chakra evenly. If Boruto creates one clone, then his chakra levels, they are half between himself and the clone itself, leaving each with only 50% of his power. Against foes like Matsuri and Ryu, and just any of the awakened Shinju, presumably. This dilution, it be fatal. Boruto's full strength is already questionable against Jura. Matsuri's ability to threaten Konohamaru suggests that she is no pushover. A half-powered clone wouldn't just struggle to defeat her. We've already seen she's able to contain Boruto in an Earth Release jutsu that full power Boruto couldn't break out of. He had to teleport away from. He could have just used Lightning Release to dispel it, but instead he got the hell out of there. That shadow clone is likely going to get dispatched very quickly, wasting chakra and leaving Boruto vulnerable, and if Jura teleports via that cube that's at the Ten-Tails hideout. The clone might buy a moment's distraction, but it wouldn't decisively tip the scales, and it would confirm their belief that Boruto's somewhere in that area. Plus, if the clone's destroyed, Boruto and feel his pain and his fatigue. The last thing they need is for Jura to say, oh, he's definitely in this area, go find him. Now Boruto's felt the fatigue of that clone.
And he's right about that, right? He's right about that. A clone Boruto wouldn't be enough to take out the Shinju. But he's not fighting by himself like he was in the Ten-Tails dimension. So Sarada, Mitsuki, Araya, they already like giving Ryu some trouble. You add a Boruto clone there, I don't care if it's 50, 25%. You see how strong Boruto is right now? He's going to be of help. That's how much more powerful he is against like everybody else. So let's just say 50%. He'll still be strong enough to help them defeat Ryu. But when it comes to Matsuri, it's a bit different because you save Konohamaru, surprise attack, you come and save Konohamaru, then it's Konohamaru and Boruto versus Matsuri. And in that situation, you could possibly do something, but we just never seen Matsuri fight to gauge her strength, right? All we have to go off of is chapter 4 when she trapped Boruto in that earth style jutsu, whatever. But that's not the reason I don't think Boruto should send a clone. If it was just that, sure, Boruto, send a clone. You'll be of help anyway, because you're not fighting alone. But even if he sends a clone, that would still draw Jura to the location. And then you would be effed. Because it's a clone, Jura would destroy that Boruto clone, and then he would just kill everybody there. That's the only reason why I think Boruto shouldn't send a clone. It all has to do with Jura, and Jura only. If it was just him going against Ryu and Matsuri, sure, send a clone. They can use your help.
Boruto's role as a singularity of fate, it echoes his tension. He is being asked to let go of the personal bonds that power him for a greater cosmic purpose, defeating Jura, establishing the proper timeline.
Yeah.
A timeline where everyone survives, but his
it's tough. It's really hard.
Konohamaru, much like a Bodhisattva, might risk their path for others' sake.
And the crazy thing is, if Boruto really wants to be a Shadow Hokage, sometimes you just gotta make tough decisions like this. If you gotta let Konohamaru go, or maybe not even Konohamaru, like if it comes down to like letting a side character go, like a character that doesn't mean much, like if maybe Yodo had to die, she has to go, or maybe Araya, I don't know. Odds are that'll never happen, right? But if it does, his role as a Shadow Hokage, or not even a Shadow Hokage, a Singularity of Fate, is to do everything in his power, cut all emotional ties off, and truly harden your heart for the sake of the ninja world. And then his role as Shadow Hokage is to do everything possible to save his village, you know? So he has to act as a Singularity of Fate and a Shadow Hokage. That's just too hard. Now, if you ask me, do I think Boruto can do that? No. Not right now, anyway. Not right now. There's no way he would do that. There's no way. So there's a possibility he could just hightail it out of there, go to Konohamaru and get himself in trouble, just because that does fit the character of Boruto. But what's best is him probably just staying put, even if it means Konohamaru has to die.
Leaving his family to seek enlightenment, it parallels Boruto's forced separation from his attachments. The Buddha had to accept that suffering is universal and that personal ties, they can't always be preserved. A lesson that Boruto resists as he clings to his loved ones. In Shintoism, it comes down to harmony with Kami and accepting inevitability. Shintoism emphasizes living in harmony with the Kami, the spirits, the forces of nature, and accepting the natural order as it is. JURA and the Shinju, they could be seen as being Kami-like entities, unstoppable forces tied to the world's balance. KASHIN
Okay, go ahead.
It frames Boruto as a figure who must align with this order, not disrupt it, not until it's time for him to strike down JURA. The myth of Izanagi and Izanami comes to mind, where Izanagi fails to retrieve his wife from the underworld and must accept her loss. It reflects Boruto's potential need to let go of Sarada and definitely Konohamaru. Defying KOJI is like Izanagi defying death's inevitability. It risks chaos rather than acceptance. So as a battle shonen, it's going to, especially as a gateway battle shonen, play with those concepts loosely. The tradition, it suggests Boruto's lesson is about surrendering to a larger design, a bitter pill to swallow for someone whose life it has been defined by fighting against fate, in particular his resistance to Momoshiki's influence. Boruto's role as a singularity of fate and the lesson that he's having to learn, KASHIN KOJI positions Boruto as being a linchpin in time's flow, a role that transcends his personal desires. He's not just a ninja anymore. He is a cosmic fulcrum that his survival dictates JURA's defeat. This elevates him beyond village loyalties or familial bonds. It's about the fate of the world itself. Yet this clashes with Boruto's very real human instincts, making this a crisis of brutal...
Is that my thumbnail? That is my thumbnail. Oh yeah, I made a video on this. Oh, what was this video? I forget what video this was. I have to go back and check. But yeah, I made this picture right here. You see on the screen? Yeah, I made this, yeah. If you ever need thumbnails, just hit me up, man. Not really, I'm not a graphic designer. But what was I about to say? Oh yeah, we're about to see if Boruto truly understands his role in the story. Because as a singularity of fate, he has to understand that every action he takes actively changes the timeline. He already changed the timeline so much in this series already, just by telling people about the Thorn Soul, telling Kawaki about his limiters, what else? Even coming to Konoha to stop Code. That must have changed the timeline in some way, right? So it's gonna be the same thing for him going to Sunagakure. If he goes to Sunagakure, right, and the timeline already changed, they failed the mission. So the timeline is already on a different course of action than what KOJI wanted it to be on. So if Boruto ends up going into Sunagakure, with the timeline changed as it is now, instead of Boruto being the one that was going to originally die by JURA, like KOJI said, it could be somebody else. It could be Konohamaru who dies this time. It could be Sarada who dies this time, or for some reason, you know what I mean? So he has to be careful. Time manipulation is no joke at all. The slightest difference in events could lead to a whole different timeline being born. So just by that fact alone, if you ask me, I'm not moving. I'm just following KASHIN KOJI's orders. I'm just seeing what he got cooked up because anything can happen. And honestly, there's no going back. There's no going back. If Konohamaru dies, there's no going back. You can't change it. And if me just being patient could have prevented something like that, yeah, I'll be patient. I don't got no rush. No rush.
Watching Sarada and Konohamaru suffer from afar while staying sidelined, it forces Boruto to confront the true cost of detachment. It is a lesson.
Yeah, I remember this. Okay. It was Konoha versus the Shinju. I made this picture back in like chapter 12 or 11. I can't remember. I remember it. I remember the video though.
He runs the risk of dying. And if he does die, JURA wins. And everyone, Sarada, Konohamaru, the village, they die anyway. This is why Boruto's dilemma is so great. What decision he makes is going to be so important for his character. You can't go wrong either way. This moment strips away his agency, teaching him that true power might come in the form of restraint, not necessarily action. In Boruto, for as big of a genius as he is, Boruto has a tendency to act off of emotion. This ties directly into his dream of becoming a Shadow Hokage, a protector who operates in the dark, doing the village's dirty work from afar. That is a role inspired by Sasuke. It inherently demands sacrifice. Loved ones may die while he prioritizes a bigger picture. Sarada and Konohamaru's peril, it is a microcosm of that future.
Now he's really seeing what it means to be a Shadow Hokage.
From afar. He has
it's
to
tough.
allow them to write their own
it's a lonely job.
Allow fate to write its
with
own
no reward at all.
If someone else saves them, like say Kawaki, that is fate doing what it's supposed to do. It is a harsh evolution from his childhood bravado where he could leap in and save the day, as we saw multiple times. Even when Boruto's outclassed, like in the Ishiki battle, he still stepped in to save Sasuke. Now he's learning that protecting the village might mean losing pieces of it. I don't think that either one of them dies. I would like to see Konohamaru die. I'm not too sure that happens. It's a realization, though, that he could forge himself into a Shadow Hokage that he aspires to be.
Yeah.
Or he could break what it means to be a Shadow Hokage and redefine it in his own way. Much like how Boruto's initial theme in part 1 was about breaking familiar bonds as well as expectations to walk one's own path. Boruto's version of a Shadow Hokage might not be the traditional aspect that you come to expect with that role.
It's probably not.
Boruto's impulse to defy Kashin Koji, it is rooted in love.
So that's really it. That's all there is to it. That's the root. It's all love. So now that we've seen the third option, we got the first option. Actually, the first option is garbage now. I already told you the second option. That's a possibility. Now, the third option is Boruto just going by himself. You know what I'm saying? Boruto going by himself to fix everything. What do you guys think is the best outcome? Outcome 1 or outcome 2? The Kawaki method or Boruto just saying, you know what? I'm the main character of this show. What I say goes. I'm not gonna die because I'm the main character, and yeah, I'm gonna use my plot armor to save everybody. We get more Boruto fighting, and we get to see more of Boruto's abilities. He gets to fight more serious, but then, you know what I'm saying, Kawaki is cool too. Kawaki is cool too. So let me know what you guys want to see in the comment section below. Like I said, Naruto Explained, his channel link will be down below in the description, so go show him some love. When chapter 20 comes out, we will be live reacting to it to see what possibility or what possible timeline that Ikimoto went with. So if you want to react to that with me, you gotta leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you know when I upload or go live to react to the spoilers. And without further ado, I'm gonna see y'all boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.